Hi, everyone, and welcome. Glad you can make it this afternoon. My name is Marvin Jenkins, and I'm the coordinator for the Women's Business Center for Maryland Capital Enterprises. And the Women's Business Center at Maryland Capital is a nonprofit organization, and we assist women entrepreneurs who are either starting a business or expanding their existing businesses. And we service the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. And we offer a lot of educational programs like the one you're going to witness today. We have other workshops, counseling. We help with business plans, and we also offer financial assistance. So we have an office, like I said, in Salisbury, Maryland, but we also have an office in Baltimore, and two of the representatives from Baltimore, Nick, who is the director, and Donna. I see that Donna just joined us. Anyway, I'm going to put my information in the chat. And with that, our guest speaker today is Lindsay Peel, and she is the CEO of, and I guess founder of Kingdom Vision Consulting. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay, and she can tell you a little bit about herself and get started.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I know we have some pretty decent weather outside. It's a lot of things happening this week, but we're very, very grateful that you decided to join us today. Again, my name is Lindsay Peel. I am the founder and CEO at Kingdom Vision Consulting. We are a financial services firm that specializes in CEO financial planning, so both personal and business finances for entrepreneurs. And we do that by focusing on 5 key areas of finance known as class, creditworthiness, long-term wealth, asset protection, strategic banking relationships, and strategic asset accumulation. I am going to share my screen in a couple of seconds. And if you can give me a thumbs up, if you can see my screen, so I know that we're good.
Looks good.
Awesome. So today we're covering basic business finances. Now, if this is your first time with me, then you are in for a treat. But, I have to give you a disclaimer. I am not your traditional financial coach, mentor, consultant, right? I am very unorthodox, untraditional, specifically because I believe that entrepreneurs need to receive information in the way that relates to them the most. I have a varied background. My background is in finance, so I spent a number of years in the retail banking space. I worked in pretty much every single role within your traditional bank branch. So from starting as a part-time teller to ending my career as a branch manager and business development officer of a couple of locations here in Baltimore City. But I also am a second-generation entrepreneur. My father is a plumber, and my mom has been running the business for over 20 years. So I've had the honor to receive the experience as a child of growing up in the house of entrepreneurs, seeing them build a business, seeing them, start with nothing to building a business that ultimately took care of me, raised me, gave me the life ultimately of my dreams, right? We weren't necessarily super rich, but we were well taken care of. And I'm grateful for that through the avenue of entrepreneurship. Growing up, we were not really taught a lot about finances. Most of us do not get financial education in school. A lot of us do not have financial conversations at the dinner table. So it is my personal life's duty and mission to make sure that I am taking the information that I've learned in the banking industry through my own entrepreneurship journey, but also through things that I've learned through professionals, coaches, and partners of mine to make sure that our entrepreneurs are receiving the information, but also the resources, tangible resources that can really help you to create the business of your dreams. Now, let me just do a quick check in the room. How many people who are here, you are the first entrepreneur within your close family? You can drop a me in the chat, yes, or raise your hands. I know we don't have a ton of people, but listen, we want to keep this active and engaged. Me, all right, Ms. Price. Listen, I know it's not easy. When you are the first right? When you are the first, you are trying to figure it out, right? A lot of times we don't have models. We don't necessarily have the blueprint or the guide to follow. And that is okay. That is totally okay. I see you too, Miss Reed. You're the first ones. So one, I applaud you both, right? For taking a step, to create something different for your lineage. A lot of times in schools, they teach us, they coach us, they train us on how to be employees, how to build someone else's business. However, being employees doesn't always help us to create wealth for our families. I really focus a lot on preparing the blocks to build generational wealth. But in order to build generational wealth, to have anything to pass down, you have to build it for yourself first. You have to figure out your own financial life, create wealth for yourself in your business, and through additional avenues, and then be able to be in position to take care of your family. I am overall a community advocate, community engagement specialist, all things community, all things finance, business, and entrepreneurship is my lane. I love the work that I do, and I'm so excited to bring to you guys some great information. If you missed us 2 weeks ago, we did a presentation on basic business finances where we went through each avenue of class and why they are very important, really very vital to the success of your business and to the success of your personal financial future. We spoke a little bit about personal credit and the need to have good personal credit so that you can leverage business credit. We spoke about long-term wealth, making sure that entrepreneurs are thinking about retirement. What does your future look like? I know that a lot of times we're focusing on the day-to-day, the next month. How do we make payroll? How do we keep inventory? How do we pay the rent, for our space? We don't always focus on retirement. However, we have to change that, right? It is important because we can't depend on Social Security to take care of us. We know, one, it's not enough, but also two, we don't know how long that may last, right? Literally things we may never know. So it's very important for entrepreneurs that we are planning for long-term financial success. Asset protection, we covered making sure that you have proper insurances, right? Because GoFundMe's, that's not sexy anymore, right? To raise money to take care of your families. We don't need to have fish fries at the church, right? To bury our family members. We have to be very intentional and very strategic about making sure we have proper insurances. One, to take care of our final expenses, but also to take care of any debts that we may have so that our family members are not adding they don't have that added financial stress of what you left behind in addition to mourning that loss for you, right? We also cover estate planning, right? The importance of having a will, having a trust, being able to have your power of attorneys, making sure that we have these documents in place. We know all too well, too many celebrities who do not have an estate plan, right? And their assets and things were left into probate for so long. You don't want the courts to decide what happens to your assets that you work very hard for. Strategic banking relationships, we'll get into a lot of that today, but also strategic asset accumulation. Nobody has to teach us how to accumulate liabilities. We know how to go purchase things that do not appreciate. We know how to purchase things that do not serve us well in the long term. However, do we know how to be very intentional about purchasing assets that will give us some appreciation, some potential cash flow that will add to our personal net worth? So if you missed that presentation 2 weeks ago, please go back to MCE's YouTube channel, and you'll be able to find that there in addition with all of their other training sessions. Listen, the MCE's Women's Business Center, they are here for you. They want to make sure that they are providing you the tangible education and the resources to help you achieve your goals. So just a free plug for them. I promise they didn't pay me to say that. Just a little bit about Kingdom Vision, who we are and why we exist. Our long-term mission is to educate, empower, and encourage entrepreneurs of color to employ financial strategies that ultimately help you to create generational wealth. But of course, in order to be able to strategize intentionally, we have to have the education first. And a lot of times, in addition to the education, we have to feel empowered and encouraged to even embark on these journeys, right? That for a lot of us, it's your first time, right? So a lot of grace and space is necessary, but a lot of encouragement. You have to be empowered, because being an entrepreneur is not for the faint at heart. I say that often. It is indeed a journey, but it is a journey worth embarking on. Our vision is to break the poverty cycle and shrink the racial wealth gap for communities of color. I'm very intentional about the work that I do and why I do it, because I grew up in communities where we did not have resources. We did not have people or organizations, honestly, like MCE, who was providing us with the resources. In a very small town in North Carolina, where if you blink twice, you've missed the whole thing, one high school for the entire county, maybe 5 stoplights in my small city. So it was important to me, as I started to gain financial knowledge and education and learning about entrepreneurship and embarking upon that journey, that it was important to me to bring it back to the streets, the communities who need it the most. So we're super excited to be here. So today, we're taking a different route with our business banking finances part 2 session. When we did this cycle a couple of months ago, we focused on building the blocks, the building business credit. Today, we're going to focus on your financial dream team, right? Because way too often, we are the chief everything officers in our business, and that is at our demise, okay? And we have to break that cycle, okay? Today, we're going to talk about why you need a team, but also who do you need on your team, and how do you utilize your partners? And of course, we're going to make time and space for you guys to ask all of the questions, have a conversation with me, open dialogue, because we're here to support you. I typically start each and every presentation the same way, having all of my entrepreneurs to think about and to reflect on your personal financial picture. Why are you in business? Why are you in business? Is this a business that you're looking to grow and scale? Or is this a hobby, right? Is this just a side hustle? Because those are 2 different things, right? And we have to be able to understand that so that we know how to approach that. Drop in the chat if you are running a business, a scalable business, or is this just a hobby for you? Either way, this presentation, this information is still good for you, but this is going to really be applicable to those business owners who are creating entities that you are looking to scale, that you want to grow, that you want to be around for years and years to come, and that you want to also use to create financial freedom within your household. I like to tell my clients, you need to understand who you are and how do you show up in your business? How do you show up in your finances, and why? And sometimes that takes us uncovering some financial traumas, right? Being able to find the root issues or the root causes to why we show up the way that we show up today. Being able to understand your overall financial mentality, right? How do you feel about money? What is money to you, right? What do you think about wealth, right? What does those words truly mean to you? That is so important. A lot of people don't realize that mental piece, that money mindset, is the most important when you are looking to transform your financial journey. You can learn about budgeting and savings and credit all day, but if you have not been able to understand, reflect upon, monitor, analyze your financial mindset, your mental well-being, and how you feel about money, a lot of those other things are not going to matter, right? Because we know that your beliefs, your mentality, that is the root. That is the root to how we move and groove out here in this world. I used to work for a company, and their mantra was that beliefs drives behaviors, and behaviors drive results. And that is 1000% true. How you think, how you feel will ultimately drive what you do or what you don't do, which will ultimately create the results you want or the results you didn't necessarily plan for, right? But it is so important. It is so important. A call to action that I like to give every time I speak, because it's so important. And these are living documents. They change often based on your personal finances, based on what's happening in your world. out. I'm asking all of you after you leave this presentation to create a personal financial statement so that at least you have a preview of where you are, a blueprint of where you're starting. This personal financial statement will list all of your assets. It'll also list all of your liabilities, and it'll give you your approximate net worth. A lot of us are walking around with negative net worths or not much at all, right? And a lot of times we just don't know because these are not things that we've done. These are not things that we have typically been exposed to. So I'm charging each and every one of you that are here today, when you leave here, one, reflect on your money mindset and your mentality, how you think about money, discovering your first money story. Do that first, but then also I want you to create a personal financial statement, because when you have this personal financial statement and you understand your numbers, understanding your numbers doesn't just mean understanding your business numbers. It also means understanding your personal numbers. You want to know your financial background as you are having conversations with lenders, with bankers, or with potential investors, potential people who might want to be partners with you at some point. You want to know your numbers. You want to know how you're showing up and what you're bringing to the table, but also too, your personal financial statement, being able to see what you own, what you have access to, what could potentially be used as collateral. This information is going to be so important when you are having conversations with your dream team. A quote that I like to use is that the financial industry, we are very much so a service industry, but it should serve others before it serves itself. And that is by Miss Christine Lagarde. I say all the time that when you're in finance, we are in the business of serving people, of taking care of people, of providing information, providing a service. And we want to do it well. I know I want to do it well. Let's talk about a dream team. What does that even mean? Why do you need one, right? And a big reason why is because we want to start dismantling the chief everything officer stigma, right? I know that when you typically start your business, a lot of times if we don't necessarily have the financial resources to start bringing people on immediately, even service providers, then we're doing everything. We're doing the marketing. We're doing all of the technical things. We're handling all of the finances. We're handling all of the operations on top of business development, on top of trying to strategize about what's next. We are doing everything. However, it is not necessarily to our best interest. Yes, some of us may have to start that way just because of our finances. However, that should not be the goal to remain. That may be your starting point, right? But we have to be very intentional about planning for the future, planning for sustainability. No business can sustain with one person doing everything. And I'm telling you that now, especially if you are that CEO, if you are that business owner, because your role as that business owner, as that founder, is to develop. You need to be high level. You need to be creating solutions, using your time to work on the business and not always in the business. But that needs to take a mindset shift, because when you're doing all of the things in the business, you're still kind of somewhat operating as an employee. So a lot of business owners don't necessarily have the opportunity to work on their mindset, transitioning from employee to employer, right? A lot of times we're hopping into this business. Yes, we started the thing, we make our own schedules, but we're still doing all of the things in an employee type fashion. We want to dismantle that. And even if you are brand new in business and you don't have the means to not be that way, to not operate that way currently, this needs to be a goal of yours. You need to be thinking in this way so that you know what you're working towards. Some easy effects of being the chief everything officer in your business is burnout. Flat period, burnout. You get burnt out 10 times faster when you are doing everything on your own in your business. And what does burnout create? Burnout creates a space for unproductivity, right? For us not to produce, for us not to be able to take care of our clients. And we don't want that, right? Because what that also can cause is businesses dissolving, right? Because when we're burnt out, when we can't even operate, we can't even do the thing that we once loved to do because we probably experienced, right? You start the business because you're great at something, you have a particular zone of genius that you love, but when you get burnt out, when you get tired and overwhelmed, it's like, is this even fun anymore? Do I even love this anymore? Does this still bring me the same level of excitement? And you don't want to lose that because that is your fire. That is what you need to keep going, to keep building in business. So you do not want to be burnt out, okay? Also, lack of industry specific knowledge. If your zone of genius is in one thing, if you are a candle maker or if you are a stylist, that is your zone of genius. That is the industry that you know of, right? But that doesn't mean that you know marketing well, you know finance as well, you know tech well. It does not, right? So that means that you are operating from a space of lack of industry specific knowledge that you absolutely need to advance and explode in business in those other areas. Typically, we cap ourselves at what we know. And if this is what you know up to here, you cannot go any further. You're going to continuously be stopped right here, right? But if we start to allow ourselves to remove the reins from doing everything and we make space for other people to come and help, you see how it creates space for growth, for elevation. Costly mistakes. When you're doing everything on your own, when you also don't know all the time what you're doing in those areas, you are definitely going to make some mistakes. And these mistakes can cost you. These mistakes can be the detriment to your business, right? Because sometimes we don't even have the funds to make mistakes to recover, right? So we have to be very intentional about how we're moving, how we're grooving, and that is a part of your responsibility as a founder, as a CEO, to think strategically for your business beyond right now. Beyond next month, you want to be able to plan and be intentional about your business for years to come. That's why business plans are so important. That's why creating projections are so important. Business plans are living documents. These are things that move and groove and change and evolve as you move and groove and change and evolve as well. It's important. It's important. We don't want to make a lot of mistakes and then have to go back and hire someone later on to come and fix the mistakes that we made when we could have just brought them on in the beginning to help us avoid those mistakes. It stunts your business growth, period. You are not able to grow at the same rate when you're doing everything in your business versus when you have partners, when you have key people who are there to help you in your business. You do not grow the same. I'm telling you that now. It may take you much more time to get something done, to achieve another goal in your business than it may take someone who has a team, has a support system behind them, okay? Also, it impacts your mental health. And when you are an entrepreneur, when you are a founder, your mental health is it is of the utmost importance because your mental health is what's going to keep you rooted and grounded and driven and focused to produce, to create. When you're an entrepreneur, you are a creator, you're an innovator because we create solutions for people. I don't care if you're creating something that already exists, right? There are multiple brands of cheese, there are multiple brands of bread, right? You are still a creator and you need to make sure that you are taking care of your mental health. But when you're burnt out, when you're not experiencing the growth in business that you desire, when you're making costly mistakes, and when you just simply do not have some certain specific industry specific knowledge, your mental health is and will be impacted. We don't want that. We want to focus on being holistic entrepreneurs. Are we taking care of our mind, body, our spirit, right? So that we can be efficient in our businesses, okay? Let's talk about benefits. Bringing on a team allows you to delegate. Do you have the space and room to delegate tasks? Certain things as a CEO, as a founder, you should not have to do. right? You should not. You may start doing them, but you should not have to continue doing them in your business. You need to be able to put things in place so that you can delegate tasks, responsibilities, create roles for people, and set some things up in automation so that you can have more of your time back. And when you have more time back, you can create more solutions, you can create more income generators in your business. But also too, when you have a team, it helps your business to grow just a little bit faster. I'm not saying that you just skyrocket all the time in all areas. However, you can see an increased amount of business growth consistently. And that's what we want: consistent progress, consistent growth over time. Also, you have improved financial success when you have a team, when you have people who have that knowledge, right, that you do not necessarily have, who can help you make strategic decisions on behalf of yourself and on your business. You will see that financial success start to happen. Yes, you gain more knowledge, but also you become more prepared for what's to come. What do they say? When you stay prepared, you do not have to get prepared, right? I like to use the PPP loan as an example. There were so many business owners who did not have proper financial documentation, and who could not take advantage of the resources that were being provided, that were being offered, right? Because they were not prepared. And then they were trying to go back and find accountants who could do this, costly mistakes, right? But also, you just miss out on opportunities when you are not prepared, when you do not have the right people. Because guess what? You're not prepared. And then there's an opportunity that presents itself, and you don't know, you don't have that industry knowledge to be able to prepare your financial documents to go get this loan, because you got an opportunity to put your product on a shelf at a store, and you have to have the money up front to purchase the inventory. We miss out because we're not prepared. I want each and every one of you today to walk away with a level of preparedness in yourself for growth and elevation in your business. If that means that you have to walk away and start working on that business plan again, or writing down who you may need in your business, do that. I promise you, it will help you. It will help you more than it will harm you. It may take time. It may be emotionally draining. However, you need it. It is absolutely important. Let's talk about, who do you need on your team, right? And because this is finances, we're thinking about, who do we financially need on our team to be successful? How many people have ever heard of the acronym BAIL? Raise a hand, no one? And that's okay. That is totally okay. When we think about BAIL, all entrepreneurs should have, at least at a bare minimum, these 4 partners in your business, okay? At the bare minimum. If you don't have anyone else, you want these 4 people just to cover the basics. You absolutely need a business banker, because we all need financial institutions to help support us in our business, right? We do. Way too often, we're walking in, right? If we go to the teller line, we're on the phone, or we don't want to talk to them. We don't want to engage in conversations. They want to make an introduction to a branch manager or a banker, and we don't want to talk. We don't have time. We don't feel like it. We feel like they're just trying to sell us something. But you're also missing out on information, on the opportunity to build a relationship, and a relationship that can take you steps further, light years ahead in your business. So you need a business banker, but we have to change our perspective of financial institutions. Listen, I know a lot of us don't trust the bank. I get it. I totally get it. But guess what? You need them. You absolutely need them. You do not have to stick with the bank that your mom or your grandmom opened that savings account for you, 30, 40 years ago. You don't have to stay there, right? You have the autonomy and the flexibility to go choose an institution that is going to serve you, that is going to take care of you, that's going to make you feel valued as that business owner. Sometimes you may find the bank first and then you find the banker in it. Or sometimes you find the banker and then you are introduced to the institution where they reside, right? but you need one. I don't care how you find them, you need one. A lot of people ask, well, where do I start? Well, if you have a bank, right, and you actually like the bank, start there. Walk into a local branch, right, and ask for a business banker. Ask if you have a relationship manager already attached to your profile. Sometimes you have one and you don't know. You might not know because they might not be doing their job and reaching out, but when they're assigned, when you are assigned to them, they should be making contact with you. You absolutely need an accountant, okay? Not just a tax preparer. And a lot of times your tax preparer may be an accountant. Sometimes your tax preparer is not an accountant, right? But you want an accountant who has accountant knowledge, right? Who understands the law, the tax code, right? So that we can make sure that our financial documents, our statements are in order. You want to make sure that you have consistently on a recurring basis throughout the year, your financial statements being updated, your balance sheets, your income statements, right? Your profit and loss. You want those documents, and typically your accountant will create them for you. Your accountant may be your bookkeeper, or you might have a separate bookkeeper, right? They can be two different people, but you need an accountant, right? And you want to talk to them more than just once a year. You want to work with them more than just around tax time. You want to create a recurring relationship with your accountant so they can help you strategize. One, yes, for your taxes throughout the year, but also two, your accountants can help you in so many other areas. I have accountants that I work with where we share clients, right? Where we work with them consistently. And not only are we producing, their financial statements, but we are helping them to plan for their financial future, both personally and in business. A lot of times we don't realize the correlation between our partners. For example, if we have an accountant that we're only working with once a year for taxes, typically, their goal for you is to reduce your tax liability, is to make sure that you're not giving all of your money back to the IRS. However, that can be at your detriment, because if on paper you look like you're not making any money, guess what? That business banker cannot help you get approved for that business loan that you're looking for. So it is important to have an accountant that you're working with throughout the year to share your plans. What are some things that you're looking to do? Are you looking to apply for lending, right, within the next couple of years or within the year, so that they can prepare your financials to paint the best picture of you, okay? An insurance agent, you need one, right? And your insurance agent, they might not be as active in your life, and that's okay, but you need one, right? You typically will use them to cover the basics. Do you have proper personal insurance? Do you have proper business insurance? Typically, you might not utilize them until you need a new policy or until you have questions about your policy. But what people also don't realize is that insurance agents can also help you when it comes to reducing your tax liability without necessarily writing everything off, right? By investing into certain insurance policies, okay? So you need an insurance agent in your corner, somebody that you can pick up the phone and call to ask questions to make sure that you are properly set up, but to also find additional ways to build wealth and to preserve your wealth. Your lawyer. You absolutely need an attorney, right? Because there are legal matters when it comes to your business that you want to make sure that you have the protection and guidance for. Yes, there are platforms out there where you can go and get documents, templates, contract templates, etc., to fill in on your own. However, even if you read those documents upside down 10 times, that does not make you a legal expert. Certainly does not give you a JD, right? So we absolutely want a lawyer who can make sure that we are compliant, so that we can also help protect ourselves, right? In case of clients, right, who want to retaliate over any type of situation. And again, your lawyer is similar to your insurance agent. They might not be as active in your life. You might only talk to your lawyer once or twice a year, if that, if you need them, but you want to have one. You want to yes, I have an attorney that I can call. If something happens right now, I can pick up the phone and call my lawyer, schedule an appointment, or at least send them a message so that you can get on their calendars. However, you absolutely need them. These 4 people at a bare minimum, you need. How often should you talk to them? Your business banker, you want to talk to them at least once a quarter. Your accountant, at least once a quarter. A lot of times your accountants, they can cost you a pretty penny if you're not on retainer, or even if you are on retainer, depending on what their fees are. If you can't talk to them once a quarter, which is 4 times a year, at least twice a year, because you don't want to just start tax planning at the end of the year. You want to at least tax plan at a few times throughout the year to make sure that you are on pace. Your insurance agent, at least once a year, because life changes. You may need new policies for different things. You might have, even with the business, as it evolves, as you get key employees that you're like, okay, I want to make sure that if something happens to you, that the business can be compensated to help you find a replacement. You want to have those conversations and have these professionals in place. Your lawyer, you want to talk to them at least once a year, just to make sure that things are on the up and up, just to make sure that you are moving and grooving properly. Who else? Because that's not it, right? These are just that's a baseline. Who else do you need on your dream team? You want, if you're in a space and you can pay someone contractually or even in the business, you want to have a chief financial officer, that person who is taking care of the day-to-day in your business, right? Who's understanding all of the moves from month to month, what's going on in your business, right? Because they're also going to be your guide, okay? They're going to support you in spaces, right? They're going to make sure that financially things make sense, right? Because a lot of times, business owners, trust me, I know it to be true, right? If you are not versed in finances, then we sweep them under the rug. We don't focus on them often, right? That is not a big concern, right? It should be, but it's not, because we're focusing on everything else. And a lot of times because we just don't know. We don't have the resources, right? So we ignore it until we need to be involved, until I need a loan. Now I need to focus on my finances. I want to buy a house. Now we want to be very intentional about focusing on the financial health of our business and your personal life consistently throughout the year on a monthly basis, really. You want to make sure that your CFO is taking care of your accounts receivables, your account payables, right? Making sure those invoices are out on time, but also making sure that bills are being paid on time, right? On time. A lot of times, even if we struggle in our personal finances, right? Some of those same habits will be mirrored in your business. And if you know that you have some areas of opportunity to work on, you got to bring in the right people who can help you, who can help plug in those holes, right? To stop those leaks. Because if you don't, you won't have a business to focus on. And we don't want that. You absolutely want to have a licensed financial advisor in your corner. This licensed financial advisor will be able to guide you and help you when it comes to your long-term wealth, planning for your investments, right? But also in making sure that if you have the capacity in your business, that you can create some type of employee benefit, right? For your team, to show your team how much you value them, how much you appreciate them, right? Because one, it can be a very competitive work market out here. And people who are working hard for businesses, they want to have something, right? Something to go home with. Sometimes a check is good, but sometimes they want more than that, right? And if you have that advisor who can at least help you strategize, who can help you to tap into employee benefits, that is going to be very helpful for you. Even if you don't feel like you have enough to invest right now, you want to at least have the conversations to be able to at least know which direction you're working in, to at least know what you need to bring in to gain access to certain vehicles. You want to have a financial consultant like myself, right? I play the role of a coach, making sure that my clients are receiving the information, but also the encouragement, the motivation, right? Because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we need everybody on the team, okay? We need a therapist, we need a life coach, we need all of the things, right? But when you have certain people who can play certain roles for you, that is also very helpful. But also as a consultant, I help my clients to, one, gain access to all of these financial professionals professionals that you need on your team. A lot of times, if you haven't been in the area of finance, you don't know where to find a business banker or an accountant or an insurance agent, or what, you don't know where to find them. And a lot of times it's such an overwhelming process. You don't want to figure out how to go and find them. You would rather have somebody find them for you. As a part of what we do in our company, we are like the centerpiece, right, for your finances. We provide you with the resources, the network, but also help bridge the gap between you and financial professionals that you absolutely need. So consultants can play a very interesting role for you depending on where you are in your business and depending on what it is that you need. Another thing that I do as a consultant, right, I help my clients get approved for funding, right? That is a big area of focus for me. That was something that I spent a lot of time and focus on at the bank. Not only was I connecting my clients to alternative lenders outside the bank, but inside of the bank, I would be on the phone with underwriters. I was calling, right? I wanted to know, how can we get this approved? What does my client need, right? You want to have people who have the knowledge, the industry level knowledge, also the experience to know what lenders are looking for to help you be prepared. Because I mean, who really wants to have a lot of credit inquiries for a lot of the clients anyway? We don't. We do not want that, right? Because one, we know that an inquiry can drop your points by a little bit, right? It's not a lot, but the fact that it still can happen. You want to make informed lending decisions. And two, you don't want to apply for something that you know you're not going to get approved for. We just don't. I don't believe in that, right? We want to make sure that we are prepared when we walk in the door, okay? We want to make sure that we know our numbers, that we have our documentation in order. You want to have an alternative lending partner in your corner, okay? Typically, alternative lenders, they support you when you can't get traditional capital. However, they don't just have to support you for that. They can also support you if you can get traditional lending, right? But you just want to work with a smaller organization, a more community-focused organization like MCE. They are what we would call an alternative lender, right? They are CDFI, Community Development Financial Institutions, and they help to support entrepreneurs just like us, right? Where some of us may or may not be able to go and get a business loan right now from the bank. However, we might be able to have a conversation with Nick or Donna, or anybody else on their team to prepare us for a lending conversation with them, right? A lot of times CDFIs, they will take chances, they will take risk on you, right? Based on the overall story, the overall narrative of who you are, your transformational journey, where you've been, right? Where have you come from to where you're going, right? Where you are now. They have a more of an understanding, right? You're able to really allow them to get to know you and to tell the story of you. A lot of banks, it really doesn't work like that, right? You may get to know your business banker may get to know you, understand you. That may give them leverage to fight, right, over the phone for you with underwriters. However, if your credit score still isn't at a certain point, certain banks just are not going to approve you, period, right? Where you may be able to tap into some funding through alternative lenders, even when you don't have the best credit, right? Of course, you want to be prepared for that. You want to be progressive, right? You want to make sure that we are working to improve our finances. However, you just might not be in the perfect situation right now. And it's okay, but you absolutely need to have them. How many of you have actually personally worked with Nick or Donna or anybody on the team from the lending side? If you haven't, I recommend making contact even after this workshop. One, they are here right now in our participants list, right? Go in and send in a DM. Hi, Nick, it's nice to meet you, right? Hi, Donna, it's nice to meet you. If you don't know them already, and at least introduce yourself. Let them get to know you, right? Because they're going to be your advocates. They're going to hold your hand through the process. They're also going to connect you with other internal and external resources that are going to be very helpful for you in growing your business, okay? Who else do we need? We need a mentor, we need a coach. Hands down. Financially, but also just in general, right? We need another perspective that can help us to come in and to strategize and to create, right, in a different way, to think about things from a different lens, right? We also simply, we need someone pouring into us as entrepreneurs, because when you're entrepreneurs, you're pouring into everybody else. You're taking care of your employees, taking care of your communities, you're taking care of your employees' families, on top of taking care of your own family. Your coach, that mentor, they're going to breathe life into you and breathe life into your business so that you don't have to feel like you are out here doing it alone. You don't have one. There are free coaches and mentors that you can have out here in the industry. You have SCORE, right? SCORE is a part of the SBA family. They are free volunteers who want to help you in your business. I'll be honest, right? When it comes to SCORE mentors, it can be a varied experience, honestly, based on culture, right? Just because the relatability. So I always say that if you tapped into SCORE before and you didn't have the greatest experience, right? Don't give up on it. Just request another mentor if you can. And I speak from experience, right? I am personally a SCORE mentor, not in this area, but I'm currently a SCORE mentor in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I was living at some point. I'm back in Baltimore now, y'all. But as a mentor down there, I worked with a lot of clients who just needed support, who just needed life to be breathed into them, and just to know, which direction do I go, Lindsay? And for a lot of them, I was their second mentor. A lot of them say, you know, I had a mentor before and they were just not relatable. They just didn't understand me. They didn't understand the business. They didn't understand my challenges. But that's okay. That doesn't mean that you just cancel out the service in general, right? Because there is a list, a host of mentors that you can get for free. You also have programs like SBDC, right? SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, I think. They have mentors, coaches that you can tap into that typically doesn't cost you anything. And they are literally looking for you. These programs have to serve you, right? A lot of times, and not necessarily just for them, but just when you think about a lot of programs like Operation Hope or other organizations out here, the more they serve people, the more money and resources that they can get into their organization. So they need to serve you. They want to serve you. A lot of times the entrepreneurs or the community members don't know how to find them. They don't know how to tap into those resources. So I charge you today, find you a coach, whether it's through SCORE, whether it's through SBDC, whether it's through Operation Hope, right? Operation Hope have business coaches as well. You need someone. We gotta stop doing everything on our own. That is not helpful to you. I promise you, even if you have not realized that now, this is more, might be for the future self that you might experience in a couple months where, whoa, I am overwhelmed. I am facing burnouts. You wanna go ahead and alleviate that now. And if you're hearing this and you're like, I don't believe it yet, I'm not gonna tell you I told you so, but we told you so. You have to build that team, y'all. It is so necessary. And we figure out, once you have the team, right? How do we utilize them? How do we leverage them for your financial success? I gave you a lot of ways to manage them while we were actually talking about each one of these people and how they can be beneficial to you. But another way that I want you to leverage them as like your community, your own village that you have handpicked together to help you go from A to Z in your business, in your personal and business finances. We hear the term, right? It takes a village to raise a child. But not just children. It takes a village, right, to grow a business. It takes a village to financially evolve, right? It takes a village, a community, a tribe of people to invest in you, to make sure that you have access to the tools, the resources, the strategies, right, that you need to move forward in business. Another pro tip that I'll tell you, right? I try to encourage clients. You want to schedule a meeting, a joint meeting with all of your partners at least once a year, twice a year, really, but at least once a year. Bring all your partners to the table so that they all know what's going on in your life, in your ecosystem, your goals. What are you looking to accomplish this year so that they can all help you? Most people are working with these individual people, consultants, partners, and you're talking to 5 different people, getting 5 different opinions on this one thing that you're doing, and now you're torn in 5 different ways. Versus if we bring them all together in a shared space and they share a meeting, and you're going over your priorities, your goals, the things that you like to do in your business, the financial changes or the things that you know that are on the way, they can all help you strategize together and it can all make sense. Where if you have a question or something from your accountant and your banker is there to say, hey, actually, if your tax returns look like this, you might not be able to get approved. If your financial statements look like this, you want them to all work together for you to accomplish your goals in tandem, right? I see it often. I see it often. But we have multiple financial professionals on our dream team who are working individually. And then you as a business owner, you are more stressed because now you got to go and tell this other person, well, this person said this, or I should do it this way. And you got to do that 3, 4, 5 different times. We can alleviate that type of stress and plan and be proactive. Bring our team together where it's at the beginning of the year, end of the year, middle of the year, whenever you feel like it's the best in your business, so that you can have that expert advice and opinions from all of your partners at one time, where you all can walk away with action items, with goals, with things that need to be done. And they're all working individually on those things to still accomplish the same goal, right? Let's just say, for example, you're having a tax strategy meeting with all of your partners and your accountant is like, hey, we might need to purchase a vehicle or we may need to park this money somewhere. Your insurance agent might say, hey, we actually have a policy that you can front load, put all the money in up front, pay it off in total, and that might still have a cash value for you to benefit you over here. Your banker might say, actually, that cash value can be added to your personal financial statement to attribute to your net worth, which may be very helpful for us to use as potential collateral for a loan. Y'all, it can happen just like that, but you have to own your power, owning your power as the CEO to make these decisions, to bring together these experts. But to get there, we got to do the mental work first to understand our current mentality, how we even think about money, how we feel about these partners, how relevant are these partners to you, right? In your overall financial journey, to be able to feel encouraged and empowered, right? To lead. You are still leading this team. Yes, they're working for you. Yes, they have their own areas of expertise, but you are leading them. You are telling them what you need, what you want, what you expect. And they are here to help provide you with the legality around it, the codes, the laws around in their particular area of expertise, and the how, right? If you don't know about insurance policies, you don't know. You don't know about tax codes, you don't know. And it's okay not to know. I'm also giving you the encouragement to say that it's all right not to know. But what is not all right if you don't know, and you also don't bring in the people to help you, right, to get to where you need to go. You have to reclaim your power. You have to look at yourself as the CEO, okay? Not just inside it, right? Not just the working entrepreneur inside the business and only inside the business. You want to work your way to a point where you can go on vacation and the business is still running like a well-oiled machine without you. You have your people in place to do what you need. And we just really focus on your financial dream team. I'm not even talking about who you need really to work in the business. We need an admin, right? We need somebody to take care of marketing, right? There's so many things. There's so many avenues in which we need people. We need a team. But the biggest priority needs to be that financial team, right? Because they're going to really help you accomplish your financial goals, to put you in a financial position to go and hire those other people, right? You might have to tap into that business banker to get that business line of credit to go and make payroll to bring on that new consultant or that new admin, right? but we can't submit that business loan application with the business banker if we don't have our documents from our accountant. Right? There's so many things and ways that these partners, these resources can and will be helpful to you. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? How are y'all feeling? What are some of your thoughts? Let me check the chat box. We got a certified life coach in the house. All right, Ms. Price. Listen, entrepreneurs, if you're in the room and you need a life coach, we got one right here. Utilize your resources, build your community. Let me see what else we have in here. Nick and Donna drop their contact information. Listen, they want to work with you, I promise, okay? They want to. Generational. Many of us come from families where certain things are not a priority. Yes, ma'am. Adequate, no insurance, no mental health consider. Yes, ma'am. You are absolutely correct, Ms. Monica. But that's why I do the work that I do to help encourage and motivate entrepreneurs like yourself to tap into these resources because they are necessary. If we truly want to build enterprises, if we truly want to build businesses that will create generational wealth, we have to be willing to break generational curses. We have to be willing to do different things to create different results. We have to be willing to defy the odds. We have to be willing to say, you know what? I can't really hang with y'all no more because y'all, I'm not where I used to be. Y'all aren't on my current level. It doesn't make you better than anyone else. It just means that you have evolved. Just means that you are growing and you now need a new circle because they say often, right? We are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most of our time with. When we think about that, are we proud of that or not? Y'all, let's build our dream teams. Let's break generational curses together. Let's build this generational wealth together. Let's make sure that we are creating businesses that can truly pour into our families. Okay. I appreciate y'all. Yes, I heard someone's about to say.
I'm an oversharer. Because I believe in taking advantage of everyone that I can possibly get exposed to, because I guess like I said, I always tell people I'm in the autumn of my life, and then I've got some things that have presented an opportunity here that's presented itself. So I'm trying my best to take advantage of everything that I can do. But it's tough when I've already been doing this for a year, and now I'm retrofitting my business with all of this. And this is really a good thing that you're doing, helping people to get started. I don't know how big or where it's going. I'm really just in it at this point to make sure I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. And if there's an opportunity for growth that's a side effect of that, then I want to be prepared for that as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. It makes absolute sense. Especially did you mention earlier that you were a first-time entrepreneur in your family?
I didn't, but I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is that we need the most support. You need the most support because you're figuring out how to create this blueprint for yourself that you haven't seen before, that you have not been personally exposed to, right? So I'm glad that you've had, I'm looking at your comment now in the chat, you had a hobby that turned into a business, right? And when you're transitioning from hobby to business, your mind transitions, right? You need a different level of commitment, but you also need a different level of resources. So I'm glad that you have participated. Now, Monica, what is your relationship with MCE? Have you been able to speak to Nick or Donna to learn a little bit?
I had the class with Nick yesterday and with you today, and I filled out a contact form yesterday, and someone did contact me yesterday. So, believe me, I'm moving.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm moving. Yes, ma'am. I'm moving because I'm already in it, and I don't want anything to happen because I wasn't prepared. That's always, whatever other things weren't taught to me as a child, being prepared was something that I observed as an adult. and what happens when you're not prepared. Just raising a family and so forth tells you what happens when you're not prepared, tells you, and all of those things. So I'm drawing on that until I can get professional input, just being prepared, just thinking about things, because I experienced some serious creative blocking this in January when I suddenly realized it was 2023 and I needed to work on taxes. And doing all of those things. So, you just have to take the time and just reflect and get the help you get. I have the help I need. I just need to access it. But most people, and a lot of it is because of my personality, okay? Most people don't bother me until I ask for help, because they know I have, everything happens inside of me, and that I'll come to them when I need help, because I'm not a person who's not going to ask for professional help. So they don't usually bother me. They don't mess with stuff
Got it.
until they're invited in. And so I do have the support there if when I decide what everybody's role is going to be, because we are always been a people who respect people's space. All of my friends and stuff like that. That's why we've been friends for so long, is that I've got friends who we love each other, but we respect each other's space. But I know they're there when whenever I decide that this is what I really need you to help me with. They'll do it. They'll step right in and help.
Yes,
That's-
ma'am. I like
But
that.
I have to know where I'm going.
That's right.
Want to get them involved, because I'm not getting anybody else involved in anything until I know what I'm doing.
Understood. I don't want you to miss out on the opportunity though to have another perspective, right? To help you figure out where you're going, because a lot of times we're not going to always figure it out by ourselves. When I started in business, I had a network, right? I would tap into those friends just to have conversations, right? But I would tap into people who I felt like could pour into me and wouldn't take away from me, right? Because that's also something that we have to be very mindful of. Because there are leeches out there, right, who are just there to suck, right, energy and light from you, your creativity from you. But there are some people who can pour into you. You have those networks, and have a conversation, just say, hey, I'm doing, research study for my business. I would love to ask you some questions or to have conversation, right? Because that can also help you firm up your ideas of what you're doing and how you want to move in business too.
I guess it's because of the where I am in life. I don't have a lot of leeches and people and unproductive people in my life, because I'm older. I've got rid of all of that kind of stuff along the way. And most of my friends, we have some long conversations about the things that I want to do, and all of my friends have been helpful. But I do go to them, and they, because they respect my space, and when I call them and they help me. And I have a board of directors, the ones that I call, and we all get together and we hash out things. But it's been kind of informal, but it's been very helpful, help telling me what things to get involved in and what things to stay away from. But I was working for a nonprofit, and so I'm retired for the second time in November. And since then, I've been putting everything into doing this and getting this done. So I have the time, and I'm all in, and I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time at this, and I think it's just the time in my life when it came along. I'm ready for it, and my God, Maryland Capital has just been a godsend. Just the way you handle these little sessions here, they're so informative and so easy to understand and easy to grasp. This has been a godsend, because this was just the information that I needed. Because I can make jewelry, I can make jewelry and I can sell it, but I don't want to look up one day and have serious other kinds of problems because I didn't take care of them.
That's right. I'm so grateful. Thank you for joining us, but also thank you for your transparency, for your authenticity to open up, about your journey. That's how you get support, right? And it sounds like you are already on your path to amazing things, right? I'm looking forward to seeing your growth. I'm looking forward to being able to support you along your journey. I'll also make sure that I put my contact information here on the screen, so that you guys can reach out. Feel free to touch base with me, ask whatever questions that you have. I also support MCE and some of their clients. So if you do become a client and you're working on some things with them and they feel like they need to bring me in, you also have me that way as well. But you are definitely in great hands with the MCE team. Great.
Will you be emailing us the slides?
I do not, but the presentations are recorded and they will be on MCE's YouTube page.
I'll be sending out the link to the recording too, so that and an evaluation. So if you want to fill that out and send it back, we would really appreciate it. But I will be sending the link for the so that you can rewatch this whenever you want, whenever it's convenient for you. But that was all. That was awesome, Lindsay. A lot of very good information. One thing I will add, or not add, but all of the different resources that you mentioned. We're all in this together. We're not competing with each other. So that's a very important thing that people should realize, that you can deal with SBDC, you can deal with us all at the same time. I mean, it's not one or the other that you can. So that's I think, but did an awesome job. It was very good.
Thank you, Marvin. That's a really great note, and I hope that everyone has heard that, right? I hope that it resonated with you. You can work with multiple organizations. We are not in competition, right? We are literally here to support you, to help you build your dream team, to build your business tribe, that community who can support you along any area of the business life cycle that you are in. So listen, tap into all of them if you can. Honestly, if you find the right person, tap into all of the resources. Thank you so much, Marvin, Nick, Donna, everyone. Please give Lisa my love for the opportunity to continue to support your entrepreneurial communities. Always a pleasure.
Well, thank you for we always welcome you to do these webinars for us, because it's just a lot of valuable information. So we really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I guess with that, I'll close out everything unless somebody has anything they want to jump in with. If not, thank you again, and I guess we'll see everybody on the next webinar or the next meeting or next workshop, whatever we have that you're interested in. Hey, Donna.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. I hope that everyone have a great rest of their month.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Go and enjoy the rest of the day with the beautiful weather out there.
Thank you. You all have a good one.
Bye.